Good evening and welcome to my channel. I've written a story for you tonight called The 12 Town Trade. If you like RPG stories or Dungeons and Dragons, I think this will be for you. Please take a moment to get comfortable. I'd like to help you fall asleep tonight. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Now, let's begin. Snow brushed against Orlean's thighs while she climbed up the mountain. Her backpack hung heavy against her back, pushing her deeper into the snow. She looked down the mountain, spotting a small curl of gray smoke. She tilted her head and listened, hearing the faint baying of pack mules in the direction of the camp. Her mouth split into a wide grin. Orlean curled her toes in her moccasins, feeling for vibrations in the rock below. There was a great, heavy rumble coming from within the mountain. Bricklebrit the Terrible was fast asleep, enjoying his luxury nap. Rubies the size of fat turkeys and shimmering gold coins made his blanket, and a pair of enormous emeralds rested over the scales of his eyes. His belly rose and fell like an ocean wave, and small rocks shook loose from the ceiling with his snores. Suddenly he woke, hearing the quiet shuffle of moccasined feet in his cave. Bricklebrit cracked open an eye and let out a yawn. The cave erupted with the sound of tinkling gold coins and 2 emeralds as they poured off his snout. He rolled onto all fours, examining the human who stood at the edge of his treasure hoard. "Hello there." He stretched out his neck and squinted. "Aren't you a pretty little thing, with your red lips and red heart? Come closer, walk around the piles. Let me have a look at you." Orlean walked forward, with a sword on her hip and a backpack full to bursting. She bowed deeply, but said nothing. "You are no knight, and no thief would be so brazen. Tell me why you've come." Her shoulders straightened. "You are correct, Bricklebrit the Terrible. I am no thief, no knight. I am the merchant Orlean, and I have come to trade." His laughter started at the end of his neck and bubbled out, bursting from his maw and taking him by surprise as he guffawed. "Dragons do not trade, little girl. They take. I will rip open your backpack and look over my new treasures while I use your femur to pick my teeth." Orlean leaned into his threat and spoke in a quiet voice. "Do you know how many towns I passed to get here?" "I do not." "I passed through 12 towns, Great Dragon." Bricklebrit's eyes narrowed. "You test my patience with these useless statements. Accept your death." Still the merchant spoke, running her red lips. "And in each town I passed, I spoke of how I came to trade with you." The dragon's tail swished behind him, sending up a spray of rubies and gold coins. He growled. "I will eat you now, little traitor." He coiled his legs, preparing to leap. Orlean dropped to her knees and pulled out a blue checkered picnic blanket. She began laying items from her backpack on it. There was a gold necklace with threading as fine as a spider web, and an exquisite jewelry box made from pink frosted glass. Each item was delicate and beautiful, polished and crafted. Bricklebrit felt his jaw ache with the drool that was pooling there, and the power vanished from his legs. Orline continued. I spoke to all who would listen about how I was going to trade with the great Bricklebrit. The other merchants laughed at me, but their eyes shone with greed. She grinned at him. They followed me. If I return alive with a good trade, you will have 100 merchants laden with goods at your cave. The great dragon was speechless. She winked at him. These merchants are far fatter than I, with caravans full of gold. Bricklebrit found himself then and hissed, You ask for trust, little girl. Something far rarer than rubies and gold. You have much to gain, great Bricklebrit. 1 year later. Twin emeralds were as large as cookpots, displayed prominently but securely behind the jewelry section. Orline fussed over her lipstick and the reflection of them. She polished the gems each morning before opening her shop to the waiting crowd outside. She unlocked the door and her first customer barged in. It's outrageous how late you open, he huffed. You're the only shop around for 12 towns. I know, she smiled. How can I help you today? The end. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you were able to sleep. If you weren't, do you think another video would help? I'll link some after this. I know it can be so frustrating when you're awake and you need to rest and for some reason sleep won't come. It's hard. We put a lot of expectations on our rest, but I want you to know that everything's going to be okay, and I really appreciate you listening to my story. Please take care of yourself and be well.